I'm Suketa Dalal, the founder trustee of Moneylife Foundation. Let me welcome you to this very interesting discussion on what are the alarming consequences of overlooking conveyance, especially the fine print in redevelopment deals. This event is possible because of a kind support from ICICI Bank and Vita Financial Counseling. Let me now go on to the main program that we've come here for. I'm going to request my co-founder, Devashish Basu, to introduce Mr. Ramani, and then we go on to the meeting.
Before I introduce Mr. Ramani, can I request my colleague Serafina D'Souza to welcome Mr. Ramani with the country. Good afternoon, everybody. It's a great pleasure and privilege for me to introduce the speaker of today's program, Mr. KK Ramani. Let me start by thanking Mr. Ramani once again on my behalf and on behalf of everybody assembled here to have found time to come and address us this afternoon. We must consider ourselves very fortunate to have someone like the stature of Mr. Ramani to explain us the vexing issue of conveyance and redevelopment of housing society. These are laws which we get come across only when we are really in trouble on a normal day-to-day basis. We don't really care for them. And as the residents of Campa Cola society found out to their horror that suddenly their entire building and entire residence would have to be demolished by the Supreme Court order. Mr. Ramani is a legal advisor to the Renegers, among the most sensible builders in India, and we could not have found a better speaker. He's among the very best property lawyers we have in Mumbai. He's been a lawyer for almost 50 years with specialization in direct tax, Foreign Exchange Management Act, and property law. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give Mr. Ramani a very, very loud
Mr. Devashish Basu, and friends. I am honestly overwhelmed to see the response here. Beautiful thought. Outside so hot, inside so nicely breathing air conditioning is there. Thank all of you for coming here and taxing your brain instead of enjoying your weekend at home. Friends, let me start a little bit with the history of Mumbai. This Mumbai island city comprised of 7 small islands. Island of Bombay, Old Women's Island, Kolaba, Majgaon, Parel, Worli, and Mahi. And these were only up to Sion, one side, and Mahim on the other side. That was an island city. Even today, when we say island city, that means up to Mahim and up to Sion. And in 1845, all these island cities were merged into one and made one island. That was a Bombay at that time, 1745. And till 1845, this whole island, the predominant activity was agriculture. It is a different story. It was given in dowry, etc. I am not going to that. But this was up to 1845, predominantly all these small islands, except Kolaba and Bombay Main, they were predominantly carrying on agricultural operations. After that, development work started. And then by the time 20th century came, lot of development took place, schools, colleges, buildings, but bungalows, chars, everything started. But the population of Bombay thereafter went on increasing considerably. So you know that New Bombay was there, the whole other part, everything is being added. Bombay is developing today. There is no difference between Thana, Kalyan, New Bombay. This city, all this, but this is all in 20th century. The Bombay city could not cope up with the growing population. The land was limited. How to accommodate the growing population when the land is same land? So the development control regulations were amended in 1991, effective from 25th March 1991, new concept of EDR was introduced so that the FSI, not in this area, say beyond science and beyond mining, became almost double EDR was allowed. And again, on 6th January 2012, a new concept was added by means of DC regulation that's known as fungible FSI, compensatory FSI, is around 35%, about 35%. Still, I'll come to that. And this really paved the way for redevelopment. If 20th century was a century of development, we can say 21st century is the century of redevelopment. After 25th March 1991, the seeds were sown and things were changed. What do we mean by development of import property? Let's go back. The term development, to the best of my knowledge, does not find place in Transfer of Property Act. Transfer of Property Act was enacted in 1882. Nobody knew probably what is the meaning of development at that time. This was term. First time probably we came across this word in 1966 in MRTP Act, Regional Town Planning Act, where Section 27 defined the term development of immovable property means making any material changes in any land or building or in the use of land or building and includes redevelopment, layout, subdivision of any land and reclamation. According to this definition, any residential bungalow, if it is converted into, on the main road, converted into showroom, this will amount to development. Any reclamation of Nariman Point will amount to development. I know Amber and Oscar Theatre and Andheri, those were converted into shopper stop. That would also amount to development. So as per MRTP Act, this was a development. Although the term development was defined in MRTP Act in 1966, actually it became popular after the enactment of ULC Act. Under Urban Land Sealing and Regulation Act, nobody could hold vacant land in excess of 500 square meters. If you hold it, then you have to surrender to the government and you get 10 rupees per square meter. The holding of land in excess of 500 in Bombay city was prohibited, but the development was permitted. So the solicitors, advocates of Bombay, they found out a new concept called development. So you are having excess land, you are having vacant land. You don't develop, here is a developer who will join with you and both of you will develop it. You will not sell it. So there is no sale. So with this development under the ULC Act, the owner could get almost the market price and without actually losing it. Otherwise, the government would pay not more than 10 rupees per square meters as per ULC Act at that time. Then, land is valuable mainly because of development potential. Take out the development potential, the value will go down substantially. Bandra, I come from Bandra, there is Joggers Park, beautiful land, most of you must have seen, touching sea. It cannot be developed. The development potential of that land has been taken away. So what is the value of that land? Much less. But if you have development potential, if you allow the construction, naturally value will go up. Now value of Joggers Park without FSI will be nominal. With FSI, it will go up. With EDR FSI, it will go go up, with further fungible FSI will further go up. So FSI or development potential plays very important role in the valuation of land. If any land is acquired for public purposes like garden, play schools, then the owner of the land acquires development potential. If any land is acquired for public purposes, now joggers park, whosoever is the owner, supposing the government says that this land is reserved for public purposes, then the development potential is taken away. That development potential is allowed to be used north of that land, not in island city, say beyond sand and beyond mining, and that is called in general terms EDR. Now, what is redevelopment? The redevelopment refers to reconstruction or renovation of residential or commercial buildings by demolition of the existing building and reconstruction thereof. So this is redevelopment. Now, what are the construction regulations in Mumbai city? In Mumbai city, construction activities are regulated by generally two acts: Maharashtra Regional Town Planning Act 66 and DC Regulation 1991. These are the two principal acts which govern the construction activities and regulations. Transferable development rights. As I explained to you earlier, and it has been defined like this here, in certain circumstances, the development potential of a plot of land may be separated from the land itself and may be made available to the owner of the land in the form of transferable development rights. When the land is acquired, reserved, then the development potential is suspended at that time. The development potential is taken away from the reserved land and allowed to be used somewhere else towards the north, as I said. So that is the PDR. See, earlier under the Land Acquisition Act, whenever government wanted to acquire some property, they used to face lot of difficulties. The owner would resist getting market value decided by the government. The government will not take care in between. There will be hutments on the slums. So ultimately the government found out a way. He said, if we acquire the land for public purposes, we will give you development potential in the form of PDR. And so with the result, owners stopped objecting. Government also got the land, labeled land without any expenditure, so it reduced the substantial litigation.
Hello.
Then you should know what is fungible FSI. Before 6 January 2012, builders used to say drying yard. Not only drying yard, builders used to say, we will give you car parking in each and every floor. The car will go from the ground floor right up to the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that area will be used by them without FSI. But they will charge for the customer. So all these facilities are being given, but Mr. Subodh Kumar, when he took over as a municipal commissioner, he stopped all that. He said, nothing doing, there will be uniform policy, now we will give you fungible FSI or compensatory FSI. This fungible FSI will be 35% in residential development, 20% in industrial development, and 20% commercial development. And if you are using it fungible FSI, you have to pay certain percentage of ready reckoner value of stamp duty value. In case of residential purposes, 60% of residential RR value, industrial 80, and commercial 100%. Let me explain to you it further. Supposing there is a land at measuring 30,000 square feet and the building is already constructed and consuming 20,000 square feet. So these are very important concepts when we talk about redevelopment. Fungible FSI available will be 35% of 30,000. But since 20,000 is already used by the tenants or existing owners, then that much on 35% of existing area is given free. On that there is no premium. So supposing out of 30,000, 20,000 is constructed, already constructed. The building goes for redevelopment. 35% of 20,000 means 7,000, there will be no premium. On remaining 10,000, there will be premium. And remaining on TDR, there will be premium. But existing, so whenever an existing building is going in for redevelopment, so the existing tenants don't have to pay premium on fungible FSI. And they get extra. Today, if you are having 1,000 square meter plot, you get 2,700 square meter constructed area. 1,000 original FSI, 1,000 TDR FSI, 35% of both will be fungible FSI. That's why, of course, this is not there in Matunga or Sion. After Sion only this is allowed. So what are the benefits of redevelopment? Let me take you as a history of flat system in Mumbai right from 1941, Second World War time. At that time, because of Second World War, many residents who had come from Akola, Amravati, Pune to Mumbai city had left Mumbai city and went away. There were boards lying from place to place to let. Flats were available for asking. Talking 41, 42. After the World War, again Akola, Amravati, Pune, this, that, everybody started coming back to Mumbai city. Population went up. Demand went up. Pagadi system started. And then, by the time Pagadi system started, there was a partition. Huge population from Punjab and Sindh and Bangladesh. They were displaced. Those who were from Bangladesh went generally occupied territory in Calcutta and nearby. Those who were from Punjab, they went to Amritsar and Delhi. Those who were from Sindh, they chose Mumbai city as their destination. The demand went up considerably. The scarcity of the demand, in those days, in 45, 46, there were either bungalows or char system. Few flats had come up near Marine Drive, but there were very few takers because those rents in those days, 400, 500 were found exorbitant. Now, demand was high, population was growing. The desire to live, those who were from middle class, they could not live in chars and they could not afford staying in bungalows. So this thinking, desire to live in a decent living flats, this desire gave rise to the concept of flats. Some of the builders, some of the businessmen from Pakistan, Ishwardal Bhatia, etc., who had constructed two buildings near the KM hospital, they started an ownership flat system in Bombay. Then anyway, this is how from 50 onwards, ownership flat system came. Most of the buildings constructed in suburbs between 1950 to 1970-75 have become very old. In the meanwhile, family size has gone up. Those who got flat in 1955, 60, they were young couple. Today, their family has grown. What is to be done? And in earlier buildings, if you notice in suburbs, there was ground plus 3 and ground plus 4 without lift. Today, the man who got in who was 30 years old, has become 70, 80 years. He can't climb, they have to go up to third or fourth floor without lift. What is to be done? And then members are finding costs beyond their reach. They are not able to reconstruct the building on their own funds, and they don't trust each other. This is how, and after 91, the concept of TDR has started giving benefits. Society members are getting extra area, they are getting rent, they are getting corpus, we call it extra amount, and all those benefits are there. The builders are getting benefits because they get with clear title property. There is no problem of the title in such. Today it is very difficult to get property with clear title. But builders are now, in this case, they are getting the benefit, monetary value. If you see, tremendous benefits. The pollution, etc., is a different thing. But in terms of monetary, substantial monetary values are being derived. Hence, anybody who is going for redevelopment should not overlook income tax provision. Or this redevelopment, corpus, rent, reconstruction will affect them. I think is a matter one must consider. I come afterwards. These cooperative societies are really meant for living as brothers, as a family members. But unfortunately, whenever the proposal of redevelopment comes, I know because I am doing every day this work. Secretary and chairman, they come to us, say, I have worked selflessly for 40 years. I want some extra benefit now. When this builder comes, I should get some more benefit than others. They have not done anything. I have done 30 years service at least. I should be compensated. So, it's really, that's why I said a house is really not a house constructed by wooden doors or cement. A house is constructed by family atmosphere, by cooperative spirit. That is a movement of love. But in spite of all that, people forget when it comes to the matter of money. They try to make money in redevelopment, secretary, chairman, some other office bearers. So, I would say that in 2 lines, दरवाजों से ना दीवारों से घर बनता सहकारी भावों से. सहकारी भाव means cooperative spirit. दरवाजों से ना दीवारों से घर बनता सहकारी भावों से. घर प्रेम की ईंट का गारा हो, आपस में भाईचारा हो, हर आंगन में खुशहाली हो, तो घर गिरे नहीं भूचालों से. दरवाजों से ना दीवारों से घर बनता सहकारी भावों से. But unfortunately, that is all. After hearing lots of complaints, the government gave directives for redevelopment. We have already distributed those directives, but I'll just only mention in short. If your society is unanimous, you should forget about the government directive. There's the judgment of Harsha Cooperative Society versus Kishandas Rajpal, which says if you are deciding by majority, in this case, of course, 11-1, there was only one dissenting vote was there. So the High Court said there is no problem even if you are not followed the government directives. But my suggestion would be, if your society is unanimous, go ahead, don't bother about the government directive, nothing can happen. But if, say, 20% members are not in your favor, then best thing is to go and follow the government directives.
What is the citation, please?
This is 3rd January 2009. I think we have, it's a circular number CHS 2007 CR 554. This is writ petition number 10,285 and 10285 of 2009.
It's not reported.
But it is definitely, I can send it. Okay. I think we can, just to save time, I think we can ignore these directives. But the last directive, that I will discuss. Then ultimately, if the developer is to be selected, at that time there must be quorum of 75%. If your members are 80, 60 must attend. And if quorum is say 60, 45 must vote for the development. Many times what happens, there are 3-4 developers. Half, 20% one, 20% another, 30% one. So there is no decision. It becomes very difficult that 75% of members should vote only for one developer. That is the last point, is very critical. Then, as per the government circular, there are certain obligatory clauses, compulsory clauses, which should be there in the agreement. Like period of redevelopment. Period of redevelopment should be 2 years and in exceptional circumstances, 3 years. A bank guarantee for the 20% of the cost. Now, 20% the cost of redevelopment, whether the cost of rehabilitation portion or the entire building. Even if entire building, I think there's 20% the construction cost only. So what we are generally doing nowadays, most of the advocates and solicitors, they say, apart from bank guarantee, the builder will not sell one flat. He will not sell one flat till OC is offered. In this, there is a security, and in case there is a failure of the builder to complete the building in time, the society will be entitled to sell that flat. Something like that. One clause is kept. This works better than bank guarantee in some of the cases. And then builder is to provide alternate accommodation to all the members, preferably in the same area. If he can't, then he has to give rent accommodation. Then agreement is to be registered. Then, as far as the new members are concerned, to whom the flats are sold by the builder, they should not be made members until the building is complete. After redevelopment, only those new members should be admitted. All these agreements must specify the carpet area, not built up area, not super built up area, not imaginary area. And if the agreement is given to the developer, rights are given to the developer, those rights should be non-transferable. Now again, some mischief can take place. You allot development rights to one company. Your company, Noble Construction Company, you are given a construction contract. And we are the director shareholder. Tomorrow, we transfer all the shares to some other company, other group. Automatically, the control changes. So that has not been covered. So when we are drafting the agreement, we also say that there will be not substantial shareholding will not change. Or shareholding of this family will remain always 80%, something like that. It should not happen, they change all the shares, hand over to somebody and walk over. Vacation of the flats, possession to be handed over only after all legal formalities are over. Rights of occupants should be unaffected. They should not be affected. Then allotment after occupation certificate in same order of floor in which presently members are occupying. Here also, secretary and chairman, they again say, we have worked for so many years, I am on the first floor, I should go up. Committee members should not take concession contract, development contract. Layout plan must be presented in the special general body meeting, should be approved by everybody. These are the clauses suggested by the government. But then, apart from that, there are certain other important clauses which must be kept in mind. Now, termination. You have given the concession development contract. One member is obstructing, or there are certain other problems. For 4 years, work doesn't start. It should not happen that after signing the act, I think it's not the fault of developer, but somebody else's fault. The work doesn't start for 4 or 5 years. How long you will take? There is a CRZ or some road, some title defect. Municipality is claiming this is our property. Somebody is claiming some title dispute comes up for any reason. If the work doesn't start for a particular period, I think that agreement must come to an end. Similarly, delay in completing the work, there should be some limit. After that, society should be able to invoke bank guarantee and complete the work. Some advocates write forfeiture clause. I think that is wrong. If you write forfeiture clause, then there is bound to be dispute. You must honor the commitment of the builder as far as possible. The work must go on. You should be able to encash bank guarantee or find some contractor, give the work and proceed the matter. It should not happen that you forfeit the money, whatever you have done, it's in crores. Who will allow the crores or rupees to be forfeited? There is bound to be problems. So better, smoothly, as far as possible, one should not have litigation in life. That should be the first principle. Then, dispute resolution. Arbitration. Avoid going to the court. If for any reason, I think there is a dispute, there should be arbitration clause. One arbitrator from the developer, one from the society, and they can have umpire as per Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996. The dispute should be resolved. I think avoid going to the court. Then, if any worker, supposing the work starts, society is the owner. Society is the owner, and suddenly some worker dies, he needs X and he expired at the site. What will happen? Hundreds of inquiries, secretary and chairman, honorary secretary chairman, they are made to go to the police station every day. So, deed of indemnity is a must. You must take deed of indemnity. One doesn't know out of 100, things may go wrong. But deed of indemnity should be properly worded and properly done. Another thing, of course, we generally don't do it, but I feel sometimes declaration should be taken. After the building is ready, new building is ready, you must take a declaration from the developer that he has constructed the building as per the land and he has constructed the building as an agent of the society. And he does not have any right, title, interest in the society, land and the building, and he has handed over to the society this type of declaration. Because when normally there is a conveyance. After the building is ready, there is a conveyance of land and building. Here, the land is already owned by the society. The building is constructed by him as a contractor or other. But what about the other flats? So better to take a declaration that he has constructed the building as an agent. This you will not find in many cases. Many people don't. I at least do this. I always take a declaration that I have done it as an agent of the society. I have completed the work I am handed over the project, I have no interest in the property. And for future title, you must give it. Then comes stamp duty liability. It's a very important aspect. In last few years, income tax department and stamp duty department, I do not know how they have worked with each other and created hundreds of problems. If supposing the members get 10 members, they get 10 lakhs each, they get 1 crore. You go for registration of development agreement, stamp duty will be 2 crore. For developer, he is going to earn crores. He would not mind paying stamp duty on 2 crores. Although society gets 1 crore, but the developer is stamp duty is being asked on 2 crores. For a developer, okay, 5% or 10 doesn't matter. But once that is done, it will affect the society forever. Income tax department will treat your consideration not 1 crore but 2 crore. You have to be very careful in paying stamp duty. It is not the payment of stamp duty. Developer will tell you, it is I am paying, why are you bothered? But if you pay stamp duty, you will be suffered. Be careful about it. So there is one section 50C of Income Tax Act which says when the land and building is being transferred, then you have to pay stamp duty and stamp duty value will become your consideration. Now, if we see this section 50C, it says land and building. The wording is where the consideration received or accruing as a result of transfer by the assessee of a capital asset, being land or building or both. When we are giving development rights, we are not transferring land, we are not transferring building. But still, there are judgments of Income Tax Department, C.L. Khanna and R.F. Akhtar Hussain, which says even development rights will be treated as land and building. I am not able to digest the arguments. I feel it should not happen, but these are the judgments. So, as I said, you have to be very, very careful. In every development agreement, normally a developer asks for power of attorney. So, society in the property record stands in the name of the society. All the plans are to be sanctioned in the name of society. Everywhere it will be society. So they take power attorney from the society. Now there has been amendment of Power of Attorney Act, Transfer of Property Act from 1st April 2013. Any irrevocable power of attorney given to a developer in respect of land and building must be registered. Notarization will not be. What is power of attorney? It is an arrangement by which the donor gives authority to the donee to execute certain acts on his behalf. It really plays an important role in the matter of development agreements. In one of the cases, Jasbir Singh Sarkaria, Advanced Ruling Authority have decided that the moment you sign power of attorney, you are transferring your property on that day. That is the date of transfer of property. And that is the date of transfer of property that falls during that year. See, there is a judgment of Bombay High Court, Chaturbhuj Dwarkadas Kapadia. It says the date of agreement is the date of transfer. But another case, Advanced Authority, they did not agree with Bombay High Court judgment. We are in Bombay, so we have to be careful about Chaturbhuj Kapadia's judgment. But There they have discussed the matter, both the judgment, and came to the conclusion that instead of agreement date, we must take the date of power of attorney, because power of attorney is a transaction which makes him almost the owner of the property. He can execute all the documents as the owner. So that is the correct date and not the date of agreement. So power of attorney makes a lot of importance in this document. Then your agreement must be drafted very carefully. The society is the owner, there are members, and each member has got the flat, say, 1000 square feet. You have agreed with the builder that he will give you 40% more. So you will get 1400 square feet flat in the new building. There is a clause in the agreement which says the society is the owner of the land mentioned in the schedule. The society has transferred development rights of the land mentioned in the schedule to the builder, and the builder has agreed to give to the members in exchange flats of 1400 square feet. This is one draft. Normally, a developer feels that it should get the development rights of entire property. So, this is one drafting. Another draft. Same thing can be said. If I tell you this is the drafting, most of you will be satisfied, unless you are lawyers, etc., or chartered accountants. Development rights of the entire properties are transferred, and each one will get 40% more area. This is one draft. Another drafting is society is the owner of the land mentioned in the schedule. 1. Member desire to own 40% more area. Member desire to retain part of EDR FSI in such a way that each of them retains 1400 square feet flat, and the surplus EDR FSI is being transferred to the developer. Now, can you differentiate both? In first drafting, effect is same, you are getting 1400 instead of 1000. But in the first drafting, you are given development rights of entire property and you got new flats in exchange. In second drafting, you have retained certain rights and transferred only surplus rights. Now, this type of drafting created a problem in one of the cases of Jatinder Kumar Madan versus IT. In this case, Jatinder Kumar Madan entered into an agreement. First drafting was there, where the entire property, entire development rights were given. So IQ said, your flat was not ready within 2 years. So you will not get the benefit of income tax. All that tax liability you have to pay. So fortunately in tribunal, they say in such cases when the society is constructing, the period should be 3 years. So it came within the period of 3 years, but beyond 2 years. He got the exemption. Many cases, if you sign the development agreement and thereafter your building is not complete from the date of development agreement, within 3 years, what will happen to you? Your cost is few lakhs, you are selling it for few crores, market value on that day, what is the tax liability? But if your option is second option, that you are the owner of flats, the land belongs to the society, you have retained part of PDR FSI, you have transferred only surplus PDR FSI. So you are much more safer. Even if the building is not get ready within 3 years, you will not be seriously affected. So the drafting plays very, very important role in draft. But what happens? When the builder pays you crores of rupees, he likes to have full control over the property. See, PDR is costing, construction is costing. They are interested. It's the interest of builder to say that I am the owner of the entire property, I am giving you an exchange. But it is in the interest of society to say we are transferring only surplus FSI. It's a matter of negotiation, who is stronger, when he is talking, how he is talking. So you have to negotiate that. Now, whether consent of all the members is necessary for redevelopment? It's a very important question. Every society is facing this question. One or two members always say, we are not interested. Now I am 80 years old. How long I will live? If I go and come back, this building I may not. So these are every society will find one or two members. So the answer to this will be is found in the government circular. As per the government circular which we have given you the small outline, if in the final meeting, if there is a quorum constituting 75% of total members, and 75% of those, if they vote for a particular developer, the resolution is carried. Then the dissenting votes have got no value. Secondly, Harsha Society, which I quoted, majority can go ahead. Earlier there were cases, Raja Construction, with etc., where there were problems. Earlier, courts were not inclined to give injunction, appoint receiver, but nowadays, after the circular, and the courts have also taken a practical view. So the development agreement, specific performance is possible. Earlier the view was quite different, but now I think this is, if there are one or two members, one should not bother. The society should go ahead, and within 1 year, 1.5 years, the matters are being settled. Now, the question is, who is the owner of the building? Society or the member? The owner has to pay income tax. If the society is the owner, society has to pay the tax. If members are the owners, members have to pay the tax. Or to decide what should be done. Now, we have got, there is a one Supreme Court judgment, 17, which Supreme Court judgment says society is the owner. Ramesh S. Shah versus Harshut Joshi. It's a very, very important case for understanding the legal problems in these matters. Harshut Joshi was the owner of a flat near Lakshmi Narayan Temple, Paresh building in Santapuri. It's a very old matter. He had borrowed certain money from Ramesh Shah. He could not pay, so Ramesh Shah filed a suit, money decree. He was declared the judgment debtor. He went to execute the decree. It was resisted by the borrower. He said, I am a member of a cooperative society. I have got right to stay. This right is non-transferable, right of occupation. My right of non-occupation is non-transferable. If it is non-transferable, cannot be attacked. And the Bombay High Court in 1974 upheld the consent. And the matter went up to Supreme Court. Now, Supreme, first matter, second appeal, everywhere it was held that the society is the owner and you cannot recover the money. Supreme Court now sorted out the issue very carefully, I would say, very wisely. Supreme Court could not say society is not the owner. It said society, Supreme Court said yes, society is the owner, accept. And that the physical rights, legal rights are lying with. But members are occupying those lands. Members are also having occupancy rights. Occupancy rights are also a species of property. So can be attached. So the matter was resolved. So now legal title lies with the society, but there are occupancy rights are with the members, which were attachable. But then Supreme Court judgment clearly says society is the owner and not the member. Bombay High Court, Supreme Court. And those of you, I think, remembering in those earlier, up to 75-80, if you go to any bank for bank loan against the flat, they say, no, you are the tenant of the society. You are not the owner. No bank used to give loan unless some cooperative bank is. But 99% banks used to refuse. Now, in this judgment, the society was tenant co-partnership housing society. Now, based on this judgment, in one of the income tax tribunals in Bhagwan Das Lakshani's case held that the society is the owner, members can't pay the tax, society will have to pay the tax. This was one of the judgments. Now society refers to the judgment. It is tenant co-partnership society. The question is whether all such societies are the owners, whether all such societies have to pay income tax, capital gains tax when they sign development. So this issue, I think let's go to slide 19. Yeah, I don't know whether all of you can see, this is very important slide. See, the housing society has been defined under section 216 of Maharashtra Cooperative Society Act. As per Rule 10, these housing societies are classified in two categories: tenant ownership housing society and tenant co-partnership housing society. Those of you who are familiar with, I think all of you, Juhu Vile Parle scheme. Juhu Vile Parle scheme, the whole land, 14 societies are the owners of those lands. The lands are leased on nominal lease to the members, and members are owners of their bungalows. So that is called tenant ownership housing society, where the land is owned by the society and the building is owned by the member concerned. The title of the land and building both rest in society and member. Now tenant co-partnership housing societies, which are generally everywhere found, where the title of the land and building is with the society. In Juhu scheme, land is owned by the society, building is owned by the member and not the bungalow owner. In other places, normally, land and building both are owned by the society. Now, bylaws, our bylaws of the society, further subclassify this tenant co-partnership society in two. One is a plot purchase society and another is flat owners type society. Plot purchase society and flat owners society. In plot purchase society, land is directly acquired by the society. Old society, Sitco. Why I go for? Sitco is allotting so many lands to the society. Because the lands are allotted by the society and the secretary, chief promoter allots the flats. And other cases where flats are, land is acquired by a builder who sells the flat, and later on societies are formed to manage the affair. Wherever the builder is in picture, that is flat owners type society. Wherever builder is not in the picture, that is plot purchase type. CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes, has issued a circular in 1969. Now, circulars issued by the board are binding upon their officers. CBDT has issued a circular saying if flats are sold by the builder and later on society is formed, in this case, members are the owners and not the society. This is the gist, sum and substance of old circular. Next. Now, some tribunals have given judgments saying that there is no income on transfer of TDR rights. Whenever a society is executing development agreement, there is no income to the society, there is no income to the government. And the basis was, there was an old Supreme Court judgment of P.C. Srinivas Shetty, which had, if there is no cost of tenancy right, the old case of tenancy right, if there is no cost, then you cannot work out the capital gain. Section 48 they have analyzed, I am not going deep into that. If you analyze, for ascertaining the capital gain, there must be some cost capable of determination. If it is not, then the provisions do not apply. So on that basis, so many judgments have come. Maheshwar Prakash, Ambar Kraft, Totia Court, New Shelja, Jethalal Mehta, Ishwarlal Kanakia. Ishwarlal Kanakia had gone a step further. They say even if there is old FSI and there is additional TDR, no tax liability, because he said, I cannot ascertain the cost of my FSI and TDR FSI. But judgment was given in favor. God alone knows. But there are some other tribunals which have given a judgment that transfer of TDR rights, execution of development agreements definitely results in capital. Majority of the judgments say there is no capital gain, but there are some judgments which say there is a capital gain. Now, how to do that? Shakti insulated wire said no, it's a capital asset, there will be tax liability. C.L. Khanna's case is my friend, he is a chartered accountant. He appeared, unfortunately, and he cited so many cases that the tribunal made a distinction. In earlier cases, the building was maintained as it is above the existing structure, new structure was constructed. But in your case, you have demolished the building, constructed new building, but you have to pay tax. The matter is in High Court. All these matters are in High Court. Most of the matters are in High Court. And the tragedy is, in our country, unfortunately, these decisions take 10, 12, 15 years. Today, one member has sold the flat, he has not paid the tax. He goes out, files appeal, after 15 years, result comes and says tax liability is there. So, he will have to pay tax, income tax, plus interest of 15 years. And by that time, half the members may sell away the flat, go to other place, who will pay the tax after 15 years. If there is a liability, God alone knows. Things are very, very. Now, the matter doesn't end there. I am practicing on income tax from last nearly 49 years. I am still not clear what to be done. If it is taxable, one judgment says, Bombay High Court, Chaturved Kapadia, no, the day you sign the agreement, tax liability is there. You sign the agreement in the month of March 2014, take only 1 lakh nominal, you will have to pay tax on the entire amount. You receive the money, nominal money, in the February, March. On 10th of March, by 31st of March, you must work out entire tax liability. You have received token 1 lakh from the builder, you may have to pay 30 lakhs on the transaction. But because the judgment says Entire tax liability arises on the date of signing the agreement. Sarkariya's judgment said no, signing of the judgment may not be the correct. And they have analyzed it very well. They say agreement by itself does not provide immediate date of transfer. That is not a transaction of transfer. The date of execution of the agreement cannot be treated as a transaction of transfer. But the transaction of giving power attorney should be treated as a transaction which enables the power of attorney holder to act like the owner. So they have gone, analyzed, but we are Bombay City under Bombay High Court. So we have to follow Chaturmukh Bhagadas Kapadia, not Sarkariya state. We be governed by. We have to be very careful. We can't select. You have to decide what is to be done. Many clients come to us and say, I have taken only nominal amount. How can I pay tax? I have to receive money in 2 years. So I'll just say, here, read the section. In the section, there is a charging section of income tax which says profit or gain arising. Now please read the word here. It is arising. It is not receiving. You have to read why the judgments are given. Profits or gain arising, not receiving, from the transfer of a capital asset shall be deemed may not be actual. If you have signed the agreement, it will be deemed that you have received in that year. So this is the basis of that section. And further, I think that you may go into it.
Then this is considered bad in law. You like this,
We'll discuss afterwards. Okay. Can we postpone the transfer date by postponing the date of possession? Now, see, many times we as a solicitor, we used to write, the developer is given license to enter the land. He will get right on the developer's portion after the building is completed. So, our understanding was earlier, 2 years earlier, 10 years earlier, that we have given license to the builder. We are not given actual possession. So, the court said no. Possession it may not be exclusive. There can be possession immediate or direct. There can be mediate possession. Mediate and immediate can coexist. The society is in legal and juridical possession and the builder is in physical possession. So don't be guided that builder is not in possession. Now another point is rent. Rent, whether it's taxable or not. There are two judgments have come. One judgment, Kushal K. Bangia says, if you receive the rent, cash compensation, it reduces the cost, but you don't have to pay the tax now. Supposing your cost is 50 lakhs, you receive 20 lakhs, so your cost will be treated as 30 lakhs whenever you sell. But another judgment, Jatinder Kumar Madan says, if you have received a rent of 10 lakhs, spent 7 lakhs, 3 lakhs will be taxable. There is a judgment of Lotse which says if there is an obstruction of light and other facilities, there is no tax. Now you have got a judgment. One says no tax, another says surplus is tax, and third says you have to pay tax whenever you sell the property. So these are the conflicting judgments. Now let's come to the point of tenants. There are lots of projects of tenants also. One thing you remember, whenever such tenancy rights are surrendered, the tenant gets capital gain. If the tenancy rights are held for more than 3 years, that capital gain is long term. If it is held for less than 3 years, it will be short term. And once you become the owner, if, if your tenancy is converted into ownership, and if you sell it within 3 years, your entire gain will be short term. You may be tenant for 30 years, but if you become the owner in last year and you are selling that flat within 3 years, please remember the entire amount will be taxable. This is Dr. T.A. Irani's case. With this, I think redevelopment has made many people rich. Obviously, many developers whom I know, they have really earned lot of wealth in last 10 years. But many have suffered asthma and all sorts of problems because everywhere those building developments are going on. Dust is everywhere in Bandra. All Bandraites have made lot of money. But that redevelopment, I know where I stay. But it has created health problems also. With this, I think we must have development, but proper scientific development. And let us observe hygiene in case of redevelopment. I think this is one part. Now, second part,